Philip Klinkner is a professor at Hamilton College and is with us right now here this morning to talk about it. Professor Klinkner, good morning. What are your thoughts?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. I think the important thing to understand is we don't have the full report yet. This is a summary, very brief summary based on what the Attorney General, William Barr, sort of read in it. And I think like everything else over really the last decade or so, this is going to sort of feed the intense partisanship. Democrats are going to say that even though they decline not to prosecute, they'll say perhaps that was a wrong decision, that there is enough evidence in there for obstruction of justice that they could have prosecuted. And Republicans are going to claim that because President Trump wasn't prosecuted, that this is a complete and total exoneration. Yeah. Which it's not, because the report actually says it does not exonerate him. Even Barr's summary says it does not exonerate him.
And it is funny how this day and age, no matter what the story is, people are able to read into a certain line or a sentence or a paragraph exactly what they want to read into it. And we're already seeing that. You're going to see that from Democrats and Republicans. The importance of making the report public so that people can read it. Obviously, some things will be redacted, but the importance of making this thing public. It seems that both Republicans and Democrats, even the president, saying make it public. How much do you think we're all going to get to see?
Well, I think the president and Republicans are quickly going to change their tune about releasing the entire report. They're going to claim that they declined to prosecute, so there's nothing to see here. So let's move on, folks. And Democrats are going to continue to insist that as much of the report as possible be released to the public.
Yeah. Let me ask you the vulnerable position that Democrats are in here. You continue to push. You continue to say that I don't know, they believe there was collusion or they believe there was obstruction of justice, so they need to investigate. At what point could the public turn? And that could happen very, very quickly, where the public is just so fed up with all of this that Democrats push too hard, and there's a bit of a backfire, a backlash on them.
Well, Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, has already said that impeachment's not on the table. Even before the summary of the report came out, they're going to continue to investigate a number of things. Part of that will be the Mueller Report, but they're also going to investigate the many other sort of legal difficulties facing President Trump and his family and his businesses. We saw the hearing with Michael Cohen, which really focused on financial irregularities, not so much collusion with Russia. So Democrats are going to continue to pursue that. But the thing is we head into 2020, none of the presidential candidates that are running on the Democratic side are actually talking about this. Yeah. For the most part, they're talking about issues like jobs, health care, things like that. So there's kind of a disconnect between what candidates are talking about on the stuff. We saw this in 2018 in the local race here. We had a very competitive congressional race. Candidates really didn't talk much about any of this. They talked about health care. They talked about taxes and those sorts of things. So I think Democratic candidates know that this is something that gets partisans on both sides whipped up, but the actual voters that they need to get on their side are much more interested in sort of bread and butter kind of issues.
Yeah. This thing went on for a long time, really all the time the president has been in office, it kind of seems. How long do you think it's going to take for the decision to be made? And is there some precedence or is there law in place that a decision has to be made quickly or within a time period to redact certain elements of it and make certain elements public? How long before we'll see this? Could it take I guess it could take a long time, right?
It depends on how much the Trump administration wants to fight this in court. Yeah. They'll claim executive privilege. They'll claim that Congress has no need, that this violates Department of Justice guidelines about not releasing information about people that are not charged with a crime. So potentially they could fight in the courts for years and years. And it's not clear what the courts would actually decide in terms of executive privilege claims because as we now know, the courts have become incredibly partisan,
Sure.
and and depending on who the judge is and who the judge was appointed by, tells us a lot about how they might decide these issues.
Although I do have to say, you have Republicans and Democrats saying the report should be made public. You have the president saying the report should be made public. And 80% of Americans in a recent poll believe the report should be made public. It just seems like who would be against it if everybody's for it? Or was that before?
Republicans very quickly switch their tune on that.
All right. So the thought is that was before the report came out.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. All right, Professor Dr. Philip Klinkner is a professor of government at Hamilton College. As always, we love having you on. He has many books out when it comes to politics, including The American Heritage History of the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, which is one of the big ones for all of us. We appreciate your time, Dr. Klinkner, for coming on. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Very interesting. See, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see this thing?
I do think we're going to see it. Yeah.
Quickly?
I don't know. That's the tough part, because what's the wait? I know that they have to make sure that some things have to be redacted and witnesses have to be protected, but I mean, what's the wait?
I do believe we could see this thing within a month. I'm not sure everybody's going to be pleased with what is redacted, but I think within a month we will see the report. I think getting it out, the quicker the better, getting it out there.
And he's right. I mean, if Republicans change their mind, there'll be quite a bit of hypocrisy there.
Yeah,
all of a sudden now say, well, we won. We're taking our victory lap. We don't want to see the report right now.